Okay, we're live. Hi, everybody. I'm Trynda here with the Lake Winnipeg Writers Group, and I've got Brendan here as well, our treasurer, and Tanya, one of our members, should be coming soon as well. Just a few minutes. We're just giving her some time to get organized in her chaos. And yeah, I think we're going to talk about writing and maybe do some writing stuff. I don't know. I guess we'll play it by ear. Brendan was telling me a little bit about what he was working on. I don't know if you are doing anything for NaNoWriMo.
I read that website you sent me, and you can do I guess prep work for April and July, but I gotta do assignments for April, and then come July I have three assignments. Not three assignments. I have three courses to do. So
yeah, so you got lots of stuff on your plate already. So basically, for anyone who doesn't know, Camp NaNoWriMo is going on through April, and it also happens in June. I'll see if I can grab a link. And basically, what you can do is pick a project to work on. Either, in my case, I'm editing a manuscript I wrote like 3 or 4 years ago. I don't even know. And or you can write something from scratch, which I think I'm working on a story called Anamkara, and I think, if I recall correctly, I wrote it for Camp NaNoWriMo, not NaNoWriMo. So you write stuff from scratch too. So it's very laid back in comparison to NaNoWriMo. That's kind of the idea.
How often do they hold Camp NaNoWriMos? Like, when did it start?
I think it started because I think it started in 2013 or something.
Oh.
It's been going on for a while. Same as NaNoWriMo. I don't know about if they started at the same time. Here's a better link for actual camp. Oh my God. I'm still figuring out how this works. There you go. There's a link. Really all fancy. And let's leave that there for a second. So we also have a Lake Winnipeg Writers Group for any of the members as well, which I posted in the forums, and I sent out an email. So if you want to join, give us your username, or I think you can ask to join, which is cool too. Otherwise, we're just kind of hanging out today, decompressing a little bit. I haven't worked on my project very much. I am the worst person for that sometimes. Not working on the things I should be working
on. This one story called The Spinner. I started writing it, I think it was like 2019. And I basically just shelved it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back to it and I read through it, and I tried, because I have a real nasty habit of using action tags instead of dialogue tags.
Yep.
So action takes place first, and then they talk. And then sometimes I've, like, people who have been reading myself saying, like, well, who is talking? And I think, well, the person who did the action's talking. So I switched that around, and I saw some inconsistencies, and I changed those as well. So I don't know if I really tightened it all that much, but I think I added additional dialogue or just additional information as well. Mm-hmm. So it was really good to come back to it.
Well, that's good. That's kind of what I'm doing with this Anamkara story that I'm working on. I let it sit for too long, and now I'm going back through it, and the main character is an ER doctor, and there's a plague that happens at the same pandemic, I guess, plague, whatever you want to call it. So it's like, oh, maybe this is good timing. I can use clips from news broadcasts, and it'll make my life easier.
So what's the format? Is it like a short story, novella?
No, this is going to be a full-length novel. It's going to be, it's kind of like a thriller, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is that There's this couple. It's kind of based on Tristan and Isolde, which is this old Celtic legend, kind of like Lancelot and Guinevere. They kind of think that story was inspired by it. And it's a thriller sort of mystery. I don't know. It's weird. Where this one chick is piecing together, the main character, I guess I shouldn't call her as one chick. The main character Isolde is piecing together, or Isolde, however you say it. I don't know how to say anything. Isolde is the modern pronunciation. Isolde is the old Celtic pronunciation. So she is piecing together her grandma's or great grandmother's like possessions to figure out what happened to her because she went missing. And then she finds out that her fiance is this ancient Celtic dude who's been following her bloodline and killing people. It's kind of like a serial killer soulmate kind of idea. I don't know. It's weird every time I say it.
So how far in the future does it take place, as opposed to like when they like the original characters you're talking about?
It is. It takes place modern day. This story, but I also submitted a piece for Voices 21. I don't know exactly what's happening with 21 at this point, but I submitted a piece for it called Ashling, and it got accepted. So we're going to be hopefully reading that, and that one takes place old Celtic times. So it's kind of multiple pieces contributing sort of thing. I don't know. My whole universe kind of connects all the stories that I publish. So Guardian of the Grimoire, that was published in Voices 19.2. It one of the characters is from this novel. So it all kind of webs together in the universe slightly.
So the pieces you're writing for Voices, will that be incorporated into your novel, or is that just like offshoots?
They're kind of offshoots, just kind of backstory, and then they'll be sold on their own kind of thing, and then you can get the novel if you want. Kind of like introductions to the characters that don't fit with the timeline of the novel. That's kind of the idea.
Okay.
Because the jump in time is too much, I think. Too much going on in the story. Because you can't, it's set in like 500 BC, and then it jumps to like modern days. So it's like, oh, that's a bit of a jump for like a thriller or a mystery or whatever it's going to be. Insert whatever it's going to be. I don't know. I have the whole manuscript written, so I have a idea at this point for a NaNoWriMo. I'm going through and proofreading and editing and typing things up and stuff, which sucks, and I don't like it. But it needs to be done.
What editing services have you used?
I have not hired any editing services. I was talking about it on the last stream. Writing Aid is something I swear by. I started using a long time back when I discovered I needed assistance with my writing. And basically what you do with Writing Aid is it analyzes your sentence structure and like the words in your manuscript.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll tell you areas to improve on. So it doesn't just autocorrect it. It tells you how to make improvements and stuff like that. And I found it really helpful because then you're kind of learning what you're doing wrong, opposed to it just autocorrecting and stuff like that. It's similar to Grammarly, but I find it's better for like creative writing, and like it's more geared for writing and less geared for like emails and stuff. Yeah, that might just be me.
I'll have to try that out because I use Grammarly a lot.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. I got the pro version a while back when they switched to subscription. I bought a lifetime membership for a decent price, and I never looked back. Yeah, I swear by it. Like I wouldn't stop using it, even though I still plan on hiring an editor at some point, because I think you still need more eyes on your piece than just you, because it's easy to miss things.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. That might just, well, it's not just me. I know it's not just me.
Because I've used editors at Friesen Press, and for the find, I used Scribendi.
Scribendi. I don't know if I've heard of that one before.
They're editing service out of Ontario.
Oh, maybe I'll have to check them out. What is it? Scribendi. We'll see if we can get a link in there too. And then I was looking at where else can you go. Oh, neat. Alright, so here, I'll post that in there. I'll toss that up there. So there's the Scribendi link with some kind of proofreading versus editing. Proofreading, as far as I'm concerned, is a must, even if you feel confident enough that you can skip an editor. I think it's good to have an editor look at story structure a little bit too.
Yeah, you need fresh eyes.
Yeah, I think at least 2 people is probably good to have fresh eyes on your stuff to catch even just typos. Like a proofreader for sure is 100% needed, because you'll never, I mean, they'll probably miss a few typos because it's just the nature of it, but you will without a doubt miss typos. Typos will always make it through.
What's the last writing exercise you did?
Oh man, what was the last writing exercise I did? Because I wrote a story around it. I think it was whatever we did for Guardian of the Grimoire, because I remember that's when I wrote it. I'm not sure what the exercise was. I think it was like doing a chase scene or something like that. Let me see. Because that was sadly a long time ago. Where's the guild? It was one of Tyra's Interlake Writers Guild classes. It was like a year ago, probably. I'm really bad about keeping on my writing once I've kind of gotten out of the habit of it, and I've gotten back in the habit of only writing when I'm inspired, which it's all right, but
You want that added push?
I like the added push, and I do find that if I wait to be inspired, it's a month or two and I get rusty and I can feel it, and then I'm more off put to write the next time. So I'm definitely someone who reinforces reoccurring practice, even if it's just like once a week, reading over your stuff and editing it, then you're still in the mindset, sort of. I don't know, I may not know what I'm talking about at all.
No, that makes sense, because like if you're waiting for opportunity to happen to actually get a story out there, then that's just it. You're waiting. You're not being proactive and doing it yourself.
Yeah. Well, and I know, I think this is what it was, starting with the news. And it was the prologue to Annam Cara that I wrote, because it starts with the news. Okay. I'm not sure if these are public. These might be public. I'll share it up there anyways. I'll put the Facebook link up though. I know that there are some people also that don't have problem. They don't like necessarily to wait, but they also need something to prompt them to write, sort of like a theme. So I mean, whatever works for you at the end of the day. I don't want to. Oh, we have a Tanya. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How's it going?
How are you?
Good. I just went grocery shopping at Co-op Marketplace in Selkirk, and they've definitely changed things since I was last there on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So it was really good. There was a long lineup, in the front, but it went fast. And then they ask you questions when you enter, one person at a time, and they clean the cart before you get it.
Oh, well, that's kind of nice.
So you're like,
yeah, that's
yes.
nice. I have not left my house in a week, so I have no idea what it's like in the world other than there's lots of snow.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of snow out there, but I'm still working full time. But as of this week, I'll be working 3 days at home and 2 days in the city so that I can be with the kids. So.
Oh, that's something from Anne. Looks like Anne's watching. Hi, Anne. Sometimes it pays to read to others before trying to edit. That I definitely agree with too, because you definitely hear more typos when you read stuff out loud, I find. Definitely, 100%. We were just talking about editing and how you go about editing and inspiration and stuff. I guess we should ask if you're doing anything for NaNoWriMo.
You know, I think I'm going to take a break from Nano this year. I do it every year, and I've just written so much that now I need to actually finish what I've written. But I wanted to say that I found an editing, like a Facebook group that gives you access for peer editors, or not peer editors, but beta readers and paid editors. And basically all you do is say, okay, I've got this, it's this many words or this many chapters, this is the genre. I'm looking for a beta reader, I'm looking for an editor. And then people comment on your post and you can pick who you want. So I'm going to try it.
What is
the link?
Yeah, I'll toss a link.
I don't know if I got the link here. Let me see. I haven't been accepted in the group. Like, I sent in my application. But if you just go into your search and you type in beta readers, it'll come up with beta readers, comma, and then it'll say editors, blah, blah. Like, there's 3 different categories. There's a whole bunch of different Facebook groups that allow access to beta readers.
Oh, okay.
So it's something we're trying out. But it's very easy.
Very helpful.
So.
Yeah, I haven't used beta readers yet.
I haven't. I've done a little bit with it, like with you guys, getting you to read stuff and give feedback, but that's nothing for like a novel.
Yeah.
I'm doing the same thing.
I did find one lady on a writers group in Facebook that said she's trying to improve her editing skills and wanted to do a short story edit at no cost. So I did try it out, and I haven't opened her attachment that she sent back to me yet to see how the editing went. But I'm going to give it a shot, see what happens.
All right. I think that's the group that Tanya was talking about. Fruit critiques, paid editors, beta readers.
Yeah, that sounds right.
All right. Well, there you go, everybody. If you want to hike over there, I did see a few other ones when I searched, and I know that I don't know about the author tubers group, but there are a few writing groups that people will also do beta reading for if you ask. Everyone likes to help each other out these days, so, or at least for the most part. I mean, there are some people who don't, but teach their own.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm trying to, I printed out my second short story that's going to be converted into an ebook, and it's called Red Snow. And I have been trying really, really hard to do my own editing process on paper rather than on the computer. And it's not going very well. I keep getting frustrated and giving up. But again, I have seizures, so I have to reduce my screen time. And that's what I've been told by doctors and specialists. So I'm trying really hard. But I'm just so used to editing on the computer that it's a challenge to write with a pencil.
Well, it comes with practice. I know that I have done editing on paper. I mean, we do that for voices for the proofread and stuff like that. And I know I think there's been some studies as well about this. I'm not entirely sure that show you find a few more typos as well, and like things jump out a bit more when you're reading it through on paper. Similar to what Anne mentioned about reading things out loud, you kind of catch things differently. So Maybe
Yeah.
they'll
Are you
help
giving yourself a timeline?
I'm trying to. My timeline was to, it's only 7 chapters, and this is my second or third weekend in a row trying it. So my goal was by the end of this weekend to be done my first rough edit on paper, and then to find some peer or well, beta readers or friend editors or whatever in the next week.
Nice.
Yes.
That's good to have kind of goals and stuff to stick to. Otherwise, you just don't do anything.
It's very true. It's very true. I've learned that way too. And you know, it really made a big difference when I tried finally to set my own goals and deadlines for releasing my first ebook. It was a huge difference and a huge help. I'd be like, okay, I need this back by this date. I need this back by this date. Okay, the novel cover took a lot longer than I planned, but it turned out really well in the end.
Yeah, it is very nice. How is your ebook doing? I guess we should ask because it's been a few weeks now.
I've gotten about 5 sales.
That's so good,
That's
though.
pretty good.
For a short story, too. I think that's pretty good.
Some people I know, though, when is the public going to read this?
Every sale counts.
Yeah.
It all adds
I think
up.
most of it was on Amazon. One sale through was on Apple Reader, whatever, or iBooks, whatever it's called.
Mhm.
But everything else has been through Amazon.
Yeah. I set up, after you mentioned Google Play, I went and set that up. I didn't realize that you could set that up because the last time I had looked, they hadn't been accepting new publishers, so I kind of didn't relook. So I'm waiting on verification, and then Revival Debriefed, which is coming out on the 11th, which is all the packaged Revival short stories.
Right.
All the old ones down, and now this one's going up, and it'll just be easier to find, hopefully.
Yeah.
Less complicated of a thing. Oh,
That's awesome.
when I'm away, I take a notebook and write by hand. It works well if you haven't got access to computer. I'd be happy to read it, Tanya. Anne wants to read your story when you're ready.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. I'm excited. I really need to get more eyes on it, that's for sure.
Or you're planning on just self-publishing, or are you going to try and submit to journals and stuff too?
You know, I think for a while I'm going to keep going with the self-publishing. I think it's a learning experience, and it also kind of opens your eyes as to what's available out there. Have you heard anything about Ingram Spark?
I have heard about Ingram Spark.
No.
What is it like? Like, I haven't used it, so.
I have not used it. I just know that it is print on demand. I was hoping that Draft to Digital had print available, but they're still in beta, which I didn't realize. So I may just navigate my way through Ingram Spark. I think there's a $45 setup fee, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that then. I'm not ready for that. I'm just doing short stories right now until I, grow my editing legs a little bit longer.
I figured I was going to wait until I had like a collection like Debriefed, and now I'm waiting to hear what the deal is with Draft to Digital, because I'd like to try it, because in theory they handle all of it. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, Draft to Digital is really great to deal with. That's the one that went through Apple and Barnes and Nobles and all that kind of stuff. They're really good.
They are very good. I'm very impressed with them. Every time I go on, and then they just add you to new places. It's like, oh, okay, thanks. Sure.
Yeah, and their customer service is good. I think I contacted them once, to ask a question, and the response was really quick. Mm-hmm. And honestly, Smashwords, I know that we've said some negative things about Smashwords, but honestly, in the end, the customer service part of it wasn't too bad. It took a long time to get through it, but in the end, it ended up getting fixed, and he fixed it on his end for me.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get it. It was just the table of contents links in reverse order. So you click on one and you go to the end of the book.
Yeah.
And you click on the author info and you go to the front of the book.
That's
I know, and I really think it was on their end. But in the end, he was willing to fix it for me so that I didn't have to keep struggling with it.
Yeah, well, that's good. I ended up taking everything down from Smashwords. I went through all the sites and took Revival down, and then Just said bye Smashwords and went to Draft Digital.
Yeah, it is a lot easier. I don't know if I'm going to use Smashwords again. I might just leave the one up there and that's it.
Mhm.
But I think I'll probably stick with Draft 2 Digital for sure, and then Amazon KDP, because that was super easy.
Well,
And I think that digital does go through Amazon too, though.
I was actually going to say I set up to try how that works with Revival Debrief. So I'm a guinea pig.
Yay! I love guinea pigs.
I can't wait to find out how poorly this goes. Hopefully it'll go well.
Have you done any self-publishing, Brendan?
Pardon?
Sorry, everything went choppy there for a moment.
Yeah,
have you done any self-publishing or ebooks or anything yet?
My self-publishing was done with New Beginnings through Friesen Press.
Oh, okay. So like that was the physical print of the book?
Yeah. It's also available in ebook.
Where? On Amazon and stuff?
Amazon, through Friesen's website.
Oh, it's like all over the place.
Yeah.
Just making notes.
The second, like this, it's a short story I've been working on called The Find. I want to send it for a second edit, and I'm looking for a publication that accepts short stories. I'm not looking for any kind of fee.
And
I just want
stuff.
Yeah, just like get it published in the book so other people can read. I'm not worried about a fee.
So my suggestion first would be to check out something like this or that.
Writer's Market.
That's a good one. Here's another one that I'm gonna kick up. This is.
I bought it, but I haven't used it.
I have it.
Sorry, go ahead.
This link I've got up on the screen is a good place to find different markets that accept like reprints or fresh stuff, short stories, microfiction, novels, all sorts of stuff. And then I also have the one that Tyra always calls the grinder, and I'll post that for anyone who searches this on Google. It is the submission grinder. Don't go to Grinder. And then
I think I wrote that down before.
I think so. Tyra and I were talking about it at the last guild meeting that we had. So, and here's the URL for the submission grinder. And I think it was the submission grinder that I found that 100-word flash fiction submission spot. So those are two really good spots. There's also, move that up for a little longer. What was the other place that I was looking at? Ralan has some good stuff, but this is more focused on science fiction and fantasy. So, I mean, if that's what you're writing, then this might be a good place to check as well. Ralan.com. That one, don't be put off so much by the website. It doesn't look super, super new, but it still functions as far as I'm aware.
Like you talk about 1990 stuff?
Yeah, like, you know, it's a flashback in history. You know? I mean, it's still, all the content is being updated. It's just, it looks like it has been abandoned, that's all. Some people may turn away right when they get to it, so don't be put off by the simplistic layout. There, that's a better way to put it, the simplistic layout.
Nice.
Yeah, those are the three big ones I go to. What was the other one? There was a Canadian authors one, but that's more contests and stuff. So those are all.
Do you feel?
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I keep cutting people off. It's hard because you don't know when someone's going to keep talking or if it's going to pause, and there's always that delay. I'm the worst person for cutting people off. Just wanted to ask, do you find it's more beneficial to submit to, you know, like short story publications rather than self-publishing? or did you find more reward in self-publishing?
I am not sure. My reward is having people read my stuff in general. So part of the self-publishing is that people can go and find it easier, hopefully, maybe, I don't know. But then I also do the publishing on the side with like voices or with a few other electronics areas, so then people can still read it in other places and find out about me. And then maybe I get paid on occasion. I have yet to submit something that I get paid for other than contributor copies. So.
Oh yeah, that seems to be the way. I know I had like the recipe in tomato slices,
Yeah,
chicken parmesan, and
that's
they
a big
said
contributor copy to get though.
I didn't get a contributor copy.
Oh.
I kind of pooped the bed on that one. I didn't respond to their email, and now I never found the email. I lost it, but they're supposed to pay me $5.
Oh.
And then I was supposed to get a discount on buying the book. So it wasn't actually a contributor's copy. So I ended up having to buy it on Amazon for full price. So.
Wow. It is what it is, I guess. At least you're in there, though. I mean, that's something.
I just wanted.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to bypass the whole sending your manuscript out and then getting a bunch of rejections, and keep on doing that till you actually find someone, or you exhaust your search. So I just said to hell with it, self-publish, and then take it from there.
Yeah, I'm afraid of rejection too.
I've gotten a few rejections. I don't know, something about it's like, rejection. I don't know, it's still someone reading your stuff. I've gotten a few, I think all the rejections I've gotten have been personal rejections, not just, sorry, just an automated email or anything. So that's kind of nice. They at least read it and cared. But I'm not sure. A lot of electronic stuff is very specific. So if you're submitting to places that are looking for what you want or what you're kind of submitting, you'll get more of a personal response and it won't feel as shitty to get rejected.
So, but do you look for places to submit and then write something for that submission, or do you write something and then find somewhere to submit it?
I have not written anything new for a place, but I have lots of short stories that just aren't really published, or if I have published them myself, I submit them to reprint places. So then people are still finding out about me and maybe buying other things, kind of like marketing exposure. I don't want to be that person, but I am that person. Exposure. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was looking for like publishers for short stories, but I didn't really have one written at the time.
Okay.
And then I submitted my book, my self-published book, to Writer's Digest. They're having writers contest, and it's for self-published books. First,
nice.
the grand prize is $8,000, and then there's I think there's 8 or 10 categories, and whoever's first place in the categories, they get $1,000. And then there's also additional perks like mentioned on the website.
I think it's this one.
Digital.
You said Writer's Digest? Oh, okay.
Got a link for you guys. I'm on the ball.
They're still taking entries, but it ends. They're taking entries until May 1st.
So is this for stuff that's already been published or stuff that's unpublished?
Stuff that has been put to print.
Oh, interesting.
Print. I don't have anything in print. I just have ebook.
I mean,
Like,
in theory,
they had an ebook contest, but that was back in 2019.
Oh.
My things are snapping around. I mean, in theory, I might be able to enter that one. Because if I get debriefed published in print on demand, does that count? I'm sure that there is fine print.
Probably.
As long as I get a physical copy.
Oh, you have to get an actual physical copy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, you know what? I looked at the printing costs for just for red leaves with an actual printing company, and because it was not very big, they couldn't use perfect binding, so then the costs were not worth it.
Its own
It would have cost
little.
like $6 a book to get it printed, and I can't even sell it for $6 because it's just a short story. So I'm just like, okay, never mind.
Yeah. I don't know if I thought about printing short stories. I mean, maybe print on demand might be able to handle stuff. I don't know how that works.
I was just thinking that, just for like craft sales and like local stuff, that if you have short stories physical that are only like, $4 or $5 or something, maybe somebody would buy one. But
I really want to try the printer at Benali Robinson.
Oh yeah, I always forget that one's there. In case
it's probably closed now, though.
Probably.
But it's a good idea.
I mean, I wonder if they would do it. I wonder. Maybe they've. I'm on their website now. I wonder if that's changed. Because in theory, we can send them a thing. And they can do the thing.
What if we all invested together in a book printer with perfect binding, and then we could all print our own books, and we could start our own business for all local writers in the Interlake, and we could sell Interlake books?
I feel like there is someone who has already done that exact thing. There may be multiple people even, I'm not sure. I mean, I already have my own company. I started a company a few years back called Fallen Queen Press to act as my publishing name. So I already have a publisher technically. Technically, I am a publisher. I am a self-publisher, but I am a publisher. In theory, if I could have enough income to have staff, I could hire an editor and be a team of 2 and publish books. Mm-hmm.
So where would you get like the printing done then? Do you have a place picked out?
Well, you could do print on demand or something. It's all about kind of where your markets are, essentially.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have the connections to get into physical bookstores, but I mean, it might just take legwork and standing 2 meters apart as I try to hope someone will take my book. Please take my. Actually, I don't think bookstores are open right now. I don't think
it's too bad that Tyra.
What was that? Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. So your picture kind of froze there, so I didn't know you were still talking until it caught up. I guess because Tyra took kind of a step back from BK Publishing for a bit. Mm-hmm. So that was my initial plan, was to go through Tyra for any physical book to start with. But I guess she's
started up again or not.
I don't know. I know she wanted to kind of write for herself for a while.
Yeah, well, and I totally can see that. Publishing is a very busy business sometimes. If you're publishing other people's stuff, I mean, if you're self-publishing is nice and quick and easy. As far as I mean, I should not speak for other people. Definitely not a case to model yourself after, but I find it faster, so I'm not sure how publishing other people's stuff and having to go back and forth with them goes. I would imagine it takes more time. I'm also not social, so that might take more energy too.
Yeah, you'd have to put your name out there somehow and do some advertising, and you could totally do it. But or you can even run self-publishing classes and charge for it.
Potentially. I think there's a lot of people who do that, though.
Yeah, probably. I haven't met any. Well, I know Tyra would always be willing to help too, but I haven't met anybody else that has advertised for anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about local. like locally in Manitoba. I'm sure there are some people in the Writers Guild and stuff that do it, but hard to say.
Probably.
I never looked into it too much. I mean, in theory, I could do a call for submission and do like an anthology. I don't know. I don't think I'd make enough money to pay anybody though.
No, it would be one of those I'm organizing an anthology, and I will do the publishing, but there is no income.
It would be like, here's a contributor copy. Sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
If I could convey that in tone in an email, sorry. That's what it would be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Busy sometimes.
So what are you working on, Brendan?
What we're working on?
Yeah.
Some school projects.
Nice.
And basically school projects. I got 2 more to finish for my editing class, and then that'll be done. And then I don't think I start up again until June. I had 1 course through Red River that was supposed to be for project management, and it was an actual in-class course, and they canceled that.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. It's kind of wonky to keep doing what you had planned a few months ago right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I had too much canceled on me, but I don't know.
We should look at doing our monthly writing session like this.
Yeah, probably would be
until the library opens.
Yeah, let's stream it on.
That's a good idea.
My channel, somebody's channel. I think that'd be a good idea. I have not been able to get a hold of Tyra, so I'm hoping she's writing and she's okay.
Are you texting her?
I tried.
I talked to her she messaged me, I think, about a week ago, asking how things were going and how the kids were doing, but that's about it. What's that?
I said, maybe I have the wrong number. I'll have to ask you guys. Texting some random.
Sometimes she answers, sometimes she doesn't.
I don't know. I figure these days it's totally cool if people are a little busy, a little overwhelmed with what's going on.
Oh, for sure. Things are weird right now.
Yeah.
We're living a movie.
Yeah. Well, and it's weird writing post-apocalyptic fiction because that's like my big thing. It's like, man, this feels too close to home these days. Why is the world feeling like it's ending? Can't sell books.
But you can put some real emotion into it now, like your own experience, and not just a guess of how everybody feels.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of interesting because the Anam Cara, the book I'm working on for Camp NaNoWriMo, it's kind of set when there's a pandemic and the world is ending and there's a nuclear war down the road in the timeline. So there's all these news broadcast clips and stuff to kind of give the reader a sense of where it is in the timeline for the universe, because there's an overall timeline to stick with, and then it's like, oh, here's a news clip talking about this thing. So I've been stealing news clips from the television, I'm not gonna lie. Like, oh, Nova Scotia, that's how you would word closing your border? Stolen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because this story is based in Nova Scotia and a little bit in Winnipeg, so it's yeah, I might as well. It sounds factual to use things people said.
What's Camp NaNoWriMo instead of the November one? What is Camp? I've seen all the posts, but I haven't read any of them, so I have no idea what it is.
So Camp NaNoWriMo, put the link back up. Camp NaNoWriMo, I'll put that one up, is essentially it's like NaNoWriMo but more laid back, is how I always describe it. It's like going to summer camp or spring camp. It happens in July and April, so 2 little things. And it basically, you can either write something fresh or you can do editing or just kind of work on a project, do a second draft. In my case, I'm editing, but I have written stuff fresh in the past. It's not like there's no hard cap on like the 50,000 words like Nano. It's you set your own goal. So if you only want to write like 5,000 words, it's, yeah, go ahead and write 5,000 words, you know?
Well, that's
So
a good idea.
Super chill. Definitely recommended for people who just need a little bit of motivation. That's what I always use Camp NaNoWriMo for, is prodding.
Yeah.
Get off your butt and write. A lot of people will use it to edit what they write in November for NaNoWriMo. I know that's a common thing, because then it kind of, my steak analogy from last week of letting your writing sit and rest, it over December, January, February, March, and then April you get back into it. And in theory, you could self-publish by the end of it or go down that path.
That's a good idea, actually, because I've got 5 years or 6 years worth of Nano that are in resting states.
Yeah, you
They
need
had a good rest.
Oh, maybe one day I will publish a novel. I only have like 5 of them written. I think I've only got 3.
One day.
But this one, NM Kara, I keep wanting to call it M Kara. That's not how you say it though. NM Kara, I wrote for Camp NaNoWriMo, I think 3 years ago, and it was only going to be a novella. So I'm like, no, it needs more words. It's going to be a novel. There's too much going on to not have it be a full length word count. Because that is only, that's the differentiating part of those categories is the word count. I
think so.
Not knowing what I'm talking about at all. I know, and Mermaid. That's awesome. You're making good progress then. I'm super excited to read more about it, hear more about it. I'm not gonna get my like installment of Mermaid of Writing Guild anymore. I'm so bummed out.
Oh.
Because that's what Anne was reading from the last time we were meeting, was Mermaids. Part two? Book two? Book 2 of Tramps? How would you say that, Anne? Is it part 2 or book 2? I'll wait for Anne. Maybe she'll help me out. I'm thinking it's book 2, but I'm not sure if Tramps is the series. I know that Tramps was the first book. And I think she submitted it to a contest. I don't know what happened with the contest. Now I'm curious, Anne. How's your writing been going? I'll give her a second. I know that there's a little bit of a delay.
Should show me some video.
She should. Maybe next time. I'm not sure if she's got a camera or not, but who knows. I didn't check my email either. But I don't know. It's kind of. I've been unsure how I felt about camp in the past, because sometimes I take it not seriously enough. Book 2, Tramps is the first one. Okay. So it is book 2, not part 2, if there's a difference. I'm not sure. I feel like that's semantics, and I'm not someone to argue semantics.
I always think of parts as in one book, part 1, and then part 2 is like partway through sort of thing. You can separate it that way, and it's like a time lapse in between. That's how I see parts.
Yeah, that makes sense in my brain hole.
Well, then what about for movies though?
That's a whole different ball game. I guess you would have parts, but it's the same concept where you've got a certain amount of time in between each movie. So it is kind of like one part 2.
Yeah, it's if a big story has to be chopped into smaller chunks, not necessarily that it's one story, 2 story, I guess.
Right. Maybe.
No camera. I have signed up better this week. Yeah, I think this week is substantially more organized. So much more fluid. We're on the right channel this time, and we did not run into hiccups. We're even on Facebook. I mean, we're all over the place. So happy with myself.
Awesome job.
Yeah. I don't know. And we're just kind of doing a thing. Maybe next week we'll do an exercise or something. I don't know. I didn't really have one picked. I wasn't sure how anyone was feeling about doing an exercise. So We can do
Time
it.
soon.
I love doing the exercises that give you like one sentence and then you gotta expand it from there.
Oh, we could do something like that. A quick 10 minutes and do an exercise of write something.
Then we're gonna read it out loud.
Well, I don't know if we want to read it out loud. But we could do it.
Unless we email it to each other.
No, we could do that. I don't know. Do we want to do that? 10-minute sprint to end things off, and we'll.
That's a good idea.
Sign off. Oh, I have no pen over here. Oh, I do have a pen over here. No, I don't. I have lost the pen in my house. All right, we're gonna go walk around, try and find the pen. We're on a hunt for a pen. I don't know where's my pen. It's with the book. So for those of you who don't know, I write by hand because I'm a crazy person. And I like to write by hand. That's just kind of how my process goes. So I have pen and paper. And like to get different parts of your brain working and stuff like that. Don't feel stressed about hitting a specific word count or anything. That's not the point. It's more to get the juices flowing. So
I should have to try that.
Well, especially since you're being told not to use as much screen time, right? Lower screen time.
Yeah, then maybe that'll help me with the editing process because I can edit it while I'm typing it.
That is something I have found super helpful, has been writing it and then typing it in. But it is also a slight pain in the butt.
Yeah, very time consuming.
Yeah. And it leads you to procrastinate a bit more, I found. But that might be me. Alrighty.
Well, and it probably slows it down because writing itself is a lot slower than going.
Yes, but it forces you, I think, to stop and think a little bit more about what you're writing, maybe. Don't let your editor brain kick in, just write. That's kind of the idea.
It's a good idea.
So
what's the sentence?
How about this? Basically,
stretch.
All right. So how about that? No lights, camera, or action. Don't ask me where to go with that. That's not my responsibility. I came up with the thing. I have no idea. Alrighty, so I'll start a 10-minute timer on my phone, I guess, and we'll write for 10 minutes and I guess kind of see where everyone's at. No stress. Don't worry about it too much. And we'll see you in 10 minutes, everyone.
All right.
I don't know what I'm doing. Don't ask me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's 10 minutes. We finished the first sentence. Oh my god. That's how much I got.
Wow.
Wow, look at you
Over
go.
half.
That's probably about 200 words. Eyeballing it.
157.
That's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, that
Half a page?
half page is
Oh,
pretty good.
good. Nice.
Bad. So I guess let's not read them. Let's just kind of give an overview. You know, like a quick summary. What kind of story did you guys write?
I'll let Brendan start.
Okay. So this constable has pulled over a car and is making his way up to knock on the driver's window and find out who's been driving. And he finds out that he can smell beer in the car. He looks in there with his flashlight. He sees 4 people, and the person driving is the chief.
Oh, wow.
And then he goes on his radio and he signals to his partner, "Give me a 909." And then his partner says, "Well, no lights, camera, or action for who?" And then Keegan says, "It's the chief. He's had too many."
Oh, that'd be a good one. Interesting.
That's where I got to.
Oh, that's pretty good for half a page. All right, what about you, Tanya?
Right, so I don't know who this person is yet, but their first day on the job and they're working on a movie set. But when the person walks out onto the movie set, it's dead. There's nobody there. And it's a girl, obviously, but she's in like an old Western movie set. So she walks up the stairs of the tavern and the floor kind of creaks and she goes in and all she can smell is whiskey. So she goes up to the bar and she kind of takes a whiff of the whiskey bottle and kind of thinks, should I or shouldn't I? Then she's like, no, because if somebody's watching me, this is my first day on the job, I'm going to get fired. So then she turns around and as she gets up, things start to move. And she kind of feels dizzy and then she hears a horse whinny outside. So she's kind of like done this time travel into a Western.
Kind of
But
neat.
that's
kind of like a Outlander. Oh man, I had the other one in my head now. Lost it. Nope, it's not coming back. Outlander is something about Western. It's just like oh, Alice in Wonderland. That's not Western at all. It's like Outlander and Alice in Wonderland, sort of.
Yeah.
Not Western.
Exactly.
That was pretty good.
What about you?
Well, Anne commented, an artist making a portrait, but it turns out to be unflattering. Oh, that would be interesting to read. I wouldn't even know that. Mine was about a primetime news set that's experiencing a power outage, and the main anchor is very unhappy that there's no lights, camera, or action. And then there's some news broadcast because that's my life, as I always just include that weird timeline of the end of the world and everything. Smart news broadcast.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. It doesn't, not all writing sprints have to be crazy. I mean, even that was, I don't know about you guys, but my wrist is so, but I'm rusty. I can't imagine doing NaNoWriMo right now. I'm so rusty.
No, and all I've been doing is focusing on editing for the last couple of months, you know, trying to get that ebook out and then working on the second ebook because it's already written. I just have to edit it. So yeah, I'm in editing mode.
I've been in editing mode too. Totally get it. Not liking it, but it needs to be done.
I hate editing. I just hate it.
I don't know. There are some crazy people that like editing. I'm not. Snow.
Yeah, no.
Alrighty. Well, I guess we should probably wrap it up there, and we'll be back, or I'll be back. I don't know who else is going to join me next week, but somebody will be here probably. If not, it'll just be me, and we'll be doing more writing sprints. If it's just me, probably. Well, I don't know. I'll pick some exercises ahead of time. Maybe put them in there to give people an idea, and we'll take it from there. All right.
Sounds.
See you later, everybody.
See you later.